Yo, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another video. In today's video I have for you guys a build that uses the brand new Stasis exotic helmet. And because of that, this build is going to be all about spamming our melees, but we're also going to be spamming our grenades as well, because it's just more fun when we can spam more abilities. And on top of that, we're also going to be spawning a bunch of Stasis crystals, getting a bunch of Stasis shards, and also having constant maxed out frost armor, meaning that we're going to be very hard to kill with this build as well. So we're going to have ad clear, we have freezing, we have slows, and we also have damage assist. So if that's what you're looking for, then this is going to be like the perfect build for you. So let's get into it, and first let's start off with our exotics. So for exotic, of course, we are using the new one, which is going to be all about those withering blades. This helmet's going to let your withering blades spawn crystals on hit. It's going to give you back some energy, and also, if you shatter a stasis crystal, even the ones that they spawn themselves, or a frozen target, it will release more withering blades. Whenever you hit a crystal with a withering blade, it's going to essentially shoot them all around the area, like in a circle. So if there's anything around that's frozen, or that's already slowed, they're essentially going to blow up and just trigger that again, killing more things around them. And if there's a lot of ads close by, they're all going to die. Now for our exotic weapon, I tried so many of the Stasis exotics to see which one will work the best, but without doubt it was the Salvation Script. This is just the Stasis crystal making machine. Every shot spawns a ton of crystals, so we can use them for ad clear, for boss damage, for triggering our withering blades. No matter what we have to do with the crystals, this thing's gonna be able to spawn a bunch of them. At times I feel like maybe we have too many Stasis crystals just out there, but that's a good problem to have. Now for our subclass, we are on pure Stasis. I feel like this works just the best on pure Stasis, so I would encourage you to do some pure Stasis. If you guys want to see something with prismatic, then leave me a comment down below, and I'll work on something for the prismatic build. But for today, we have just pure Stasis. Of course, we are on Revenant, because that's like our only super. First of all, for our class ability, we are on Gambler Start, so we can get back our melee whenever we use a class ability. Now for our grenade, we are going to be on the Glacier Grenade. It's just another way of making Stasis crystals and getting some more of them out there. Now our very first aspect is going to be Grim Harvest. Whenever we defeat slowed or frozen targets, it's going to create a Stasis shards. The Stasis shards are going to give us melee energy, and also they're going to give us frost armor. So this is going to be a way that we're basically always going to be topped off on frost armor, we're always going to have max stacks, and they're also going to help us get our melee back. And our second aspect, I just had to go with SHATTERDIVE. With the amount of crystals that are out there, especially with there being too many crystals maybe out there, SHATTERDIVE was just an easy fix. You can come down, blow up all the crystals, and probably blow up all the enemies in the process. There's a lot of times where you use like freeze a champion, stun it, come down with a SHATTERDIVE, and it's just gone. So this is gonna give us another way of blowing up those crystals and taking advantage of them, since we don't really have a long cooldown on this. We could pretty much spam it and be able to destroy crystals just over and over again, as long as there's enough crystals in the ground. Now for our fragments, we're gonna be starting with a Whisper of Chains. Defeating targets where we have frost armor has a chance of create more Stasis shards. So we're always gonna have frost armor, so this is just going to increase the amount of Stasis shards we get. After that, we're going to have the Whisper of Shards. Shattering the Stasis crystal will increase our grenade recharge rate, and shattering additional Stasis crystals will increase that benefit for longer. And this is the way that we're going to be able to spam grenades without really focusing on our grenade recharge. We don't really have any grenade mods or anything, so we're essentially just kind of like solely relying on this to get our grenade back faster. But since there's so many Stasis crystals around, this thing is always on, so we're always just regenerating our grenade faster, so we can actually spam it quite a lot. After that, we're going to have the Whisper of Hunger, and this is going to increase the amount of melee energy we gain from getting those Stasis shards. And it is very noticeable, like the amount of energy we get per shard. Just take a look at this whenever we pick up some shards. It is something that you definitely notice. So this is going to help us get some of that melee energy back, so we can continue to spam melees. After that, we're going to have the Whisper of Fissures. This is going to increase the size and damage of whenever you destroy a Stasis crystal. And since we have all those Stasis crystals, they're just going to be doing more damage and have a bigger blast radius. And lastly, we're going to have the Whisper of Conduction. Nearby Stasis shards track to your position. So whenever there's a Stasis shard around, it's just going to go towards us. We don't have to go and actually pick them up. This is really nice because since we're going to be making so many of them, sometimes we could miss some of them, but with this one, it basically guarantees we pick up every single one, and we never miss out on our melee energy and keeping up our frost armor up. Okay, so now let's take a look at the mods that we have on this build. And first of all, we're gonna start with the helmet. On the helmet, we have harmonic siphons, so we can make some orbs of power with our stasis weapons. And then we have scout as well as finder. Since we're gonna be using our heavy a little more, we definitely want some heavy ammo finder. After that, for our gauntlets, we're gonna have melee kickstart, so we can get some energy whenever we use our melees. Impact induction, so we get some grenade energy whenever we do some damage with our melees. And lastly, we have heavy handed. Whenever we get some kills with our melees, we're gonna spawn some orbs of power. For the chest piece, we have pretty normal things. Both resistances, charged up. Charge up is for the melee kickstart. Now for the boots, we're gonna have recuperation, so we can heal with orbs. Absolution, which is gonna reduce all our ability cooldowns whenever we pick up orbs of power. And lastly, stacks and stacks. And lastly, for the class item, we're gonna have distribution, which is gonna reduce our ability cooldowns whenever we dodge next to an enemy. We have bomber, which is gonna reduce our grenade specifically whenever we dodge. And lastly, reaper. After we use that class ability, our next weapon kill is gonna make an orb. Now for the artifact, we actually have a lot of mods that we can use in this build, so let's take a look at them. First of all, brain freeze is gonna slow things around whenever you freeze something. This one's really good. It essentially makes any frozen target into a dust field grenade. Surf Cool is gonna be another good one whenever we pick up some stasis shards, or it's gonna be a class ability energy. So it's gonna give us both melee and class ability energy. We also have the grenade launcher mods, which you guys already know are gonna be pretty great. So put all three of these on. These are gonna affect both our heavy and special grenade launcher, so these are gonna be pretty great. Hell the Storm is also gonna be an amazing mod. Whenever we shatter those stasis crystals, it'll slow things around it. And if we boost this one, which is definitely the one that I'm gonna recommend you boost, your stasis crystals just straight up do more damage. Armor awareness is also gonna be really great. It's just another way of keeping us safe. If our shield gets broken, then we freeze everything around us. And the last two mods are gonna be one with the frost, so we can reload our weapons faster, and crystalline converter. And lastly, we have crystalline converter. This gives us another way of spawning some of the stasis crystals by picking up stasis shards. Now you definitely want to use the refined tonic of stasis crystallization. This is going to boost both crystalline converter and also Hail the Storm. Crystalline converter is going to give you another way of making stasis shards after using a class ability, and Hail the Storm is going to give us that damage increase to shattering frozen targets and also the stasis crystals. Now a couple of the things that I want to mention about the build is that I recommend that you pair this up with the Lost Signal. This is the grenade launcher from last season, the area denial frame, and this works really great with this build. It's going to spawn lots of orbs, it can apply debuffs, and it can also take advantage of a lot of the mods that are running since it's a stasis weapon. So it is going to be able to make those stasis shards as well. Now the gameplay loop for this build is going to be throwing your grenade at a group of enemies, shattering those crystals with the withering blade, and then going around and picking up some of those stasis shards. And make sure that you break any leftover crystals you see, so you can keep regenerating your grenade faster. And whenever you have crystalline converter ready, a lot of times you can pretty much just throw one withering blade at a group of enemies and it'll kill them all just by itself. By spawning those crystals, immediately breaking them, and then spawning more crystals and breaking those as well. It is a great thing and a fantastic chain. It is very satisfying when it goes off, and it's just a very fun build. And that's the reason that I've really been enjoying playing with this build, making all the crystals, breaking all the crystals, shadow diving some enemies. The shadow dive does quite a lot of damage with this build, since we have like just so much damage concentrated on the crystals. If you stun like an unstoppable champion and then just immediately shadow them, 100% they're just gonna die. So with the withering blades are definitely the start of the build. Don't forget about shadow dive. It can definitely still put in the work with the amount of crystals you're making. But anyways, with that, we're gonna end today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. Like always, there will be a link in the description if you guys want to try out this build. So hopefully you guys like it. And if you guys do end up using it, make sure you come back here and tell me what you guys thought of the build. Anyways, thank you all for watching today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.